So how was your day today?
It was good, Ann Jones. How was your day today?
It was very full.
Oh, it's busy right now.
It is very busy, which is, as everyone always says, it's good to be busy, but
It's hard on clients.
yeah, things are getting a little bit hectic, it seems like. Buyers are being pressured to make decisions. I just heard an offer came in on a listing that my clients looked at that they were interested in yesterday. So they're having to make choices much faster.
Fast choices. What do you think is the best way to be prepared to make fast choices?
Before that second when you walk into the house and fall in love with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I always tell my clients, I think it's nice to see a lot, even if you don't think it's the one in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, let's just blow through 5 or 10 houses just so you know you have a baseline. So when that perfect house comes on the market, you're ready to make the offer the first day. And it's kind of a pain because it's like we all know that we're just doing our duty here, but when the right house comes on, you're not like racked with confusion about whether or not you overpaid. Like you already feel like you've seen what's out there and you know what to do next.
Well, and the difference for a lot of people between, you sit down at your first meeting and you talk about like, hey, what are you looking for in a house? And they give you their top 10 list or their top 5,
Yeah.
hopefully top 3 maybe if you're really lucky. And then you're whittling that down as part of the process. But then when your and my definition of what a fixer is, for instance,
Right.
is different than a client's definition of a fixer. And so that
What
initial...
do you think you mean by a fixer?
Well, does it have to be financed?
Yeah, that's a good point. So let's talk about what's allowed. A lot of times if you have a VA or an FHA buyer, now VA means you've been in the military and you're doing 0 down, and FHA means you're getting a government first-time loan and you're putting 3.5% down. A lot of times people think, it's my first house, I'm gonna fix it up. But we know that the VA and the government are really into protecting you from yourself.
See, I think the term fixer is a misnomer because fixing up, by most buyer standards in my mind, is I'm going to paint, I'm going to change out that 70s vinyl in the bathroom floor eventually. I'm going to do some of these things I saw on HGTV. It doesn't involve things that take a permit in many cases that require actual contractor knowledge.
So here's a little moment for you. When realtors say fixer, they mean
Cash buyer.
But when clients mean fixer, they mean what realtors mean for a client's version of a fixer is probably dated or needs love or
Ugly.
needs updating. They never say ugly.
But I mean, it never says ugly in the marketing remarks. But what we're you want the ugliest, dirtiest, but habitable house on the block that does not require mechanical upgrades.
Estate sales are great for that because people older people always take really good care, the furnace is serviced and the things are maintained and it's always really energy efficient, but that's when you see the green carpet in the bathroom.
Well, and a lot of times you'll have materials in a home that age that are really expensive if you have to go out and buy them today. You might have real wood cabinets, for instance. You hopefully will have hardwood floors.
Wood siding.
Yeah, that's another really good one. Real wood siding, nice and thick and...
Nobody does that anymore.
Yes, that's kind of special. So those are items that are easy to overlook in the course of the light pink paint and some of those other elements. But on the other end of that...
Or the light pink bathtub.
I had a green bathtub at my house and sink and toilet. But the trade-off for that, too, is maybe it's in perfect condition. It's been really well maintained by grandma or whoever came over to the house to take care of it. But after you live there for a year, you're still going to want to update it. And I think that's the part that you want to recognize is maybe it's clean and move-in ready, but are you going to be able to tolerate it for the long run?
Which I think leads to the final point. If you have a price range, maybe you have a payment that you're trying to stay under, so you're looking at between $250,000 and $300,000, for example. When you're in that range, you should maybe be keeping in mind the fact that the difference between a $250,000 and a $300,000 house might be $30,000 of needed repairs. Whereas the difference in payment between a $250,000 and a $300,000 house is like a couple $100 a month.
Well, and that's why it's one of those really serious conversations. If you're buying alone, you need to have with somebody that you trust. If you're buying together, you need to talk about, because are you really up for a fixer and the things that come post-closing? Or should you spend a little more money at 3.65% right now, for example, and buy something that's done or that maybe just needs a few of those tweaks and changes? Because if you've never owned a home before, you may be surprised by how much you can do just keeping up with the yard, painting the interior, redecorating. You can waste a lot of money on those things alone.
There's always value in homeownership.